Hey there, and welcome back. It is mock draft season, so you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. We have tons of NFL draft content coming out, and we are really excited to jump right into these mock drafts. It's that time of year. We're all excited about the NFL draft potentially coming up, and now it's time to get down to business. At number one, we have the Houston Texans, and the Houston Texans have an easy decision. They know that they got to go quarterback. Obviously, it comes down to Spencer Rattler, Sam Howell, and there's some other guys that are potentially interesting that could go number one. But I think that they are going to go with the guy with the most upside physically. That's Spencer Rattler, a really lively arm, a guy that is also a very, very good athlete on top of it all. So Spencer Rattler is going to be the number one pick. At number two, we have the Detroit Lions. And the Lions also know that they probably should be going quarterback. They're probably going to be looking to trade Jared Goff. I don't think it's going to go super well in Detroit, just considering his wide receivers he has. So I think they'll be looking to move on from him after the year one experiment in Detroit. They'll go with the guy in Sam Howell. Sam Howell's an interesting prospect just because he's got that 6-foot frame, so it doesn't really blow you away. But he's a very thick guy, very well built, also very accurate with the football. So that's some things you have to consider in that. It's very possible that he ends up being the number one overall pick as well. But Spencer Rattler offers a little more potential upside. So that's what you want to do with a guy like Sam Howell here. You get a guy that's going to be extremely accurate at the next level, and that's what the Detroit Lions need. And they also will probably be looking to develop their receiving core because their offensive line is coming around very well. I think that they have a nice team being built. At number three, we have Jacksonville. Jacksonville is definitely going to struggle defensively this year. And how do you fix that? You draft potentially the best player in the entire draft in Kayvon Thibodeau. Thibodeau is going to be an elite edge rusher at the next level. Very good athleticism. He's a strong player. There's so much to love about his upside. And Jacksonville's very happy that the top two teams are quarterback needy because they go ahead and get potentially the best player in the class at number three. At number four, we have the New York Jets, a team that is definitely going to be focused on defense with Robert Saleh being there. And I think that they definitely have to go with Derek Stingley Jr. In high school, he was in the 97th percentile of athletes, according to his athletic score. He has like a 40 passer rating against him in college on all the targets against him. He is absolutely terrific, phenomenal athlete, really good man corner. There's a lot to love about Derek Stingley, and he came on as a true freshman and really shined on top of it. At number five, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are kind of in an interesting position because they drafted Jackson Carman. Are they going to play him at guard or are they going to play him at tackle? I guess we'll kind of see when the season starts. But I think Evan Neal, who was a really good prospect in terms of his polish, and he's also a very good athlete at that tackle spot. Two things that are, key in drafting an offensive lineman. He's going to go number five to the Cincinnati Bengals. I know a lot of people were really, really ripping on the Bengals for going Jamar Chase this past season, but it's going to work out. Reason being, they're not going to be great this year. They go ahead and still get a franchise tackle at number five. Evan Neal is going to be a guy that people are really talking about when it comes draft time. At number six, we have the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Philadelphia Eagles want to get better in the secondary. I don't think that there's really any discussion there. Kyle Hamilton can be that guy for you. He's got the 6'4" frame, about 220, very solid safety, but he can do it all. Very, very, very impressive instincts. I think this is obviously this is a top tier player in this class, but I think he can make a huge impact on this Philadelphia defense. They're going to have some struggles this year too defensively, but I think Kyle Hamilton is a true star safety at the next level. And now we have the Giants at number seven. And the Giants are kind of in a position where they've done a very nice job constructing their roster. I think now that they have that 3-4 defense, you're going to want another inside linebacker. Christian Harris is going to give that to you. Blake Martinez and Christian Harris would be a deadly inside linebacking duo for that defense in New York. I think that they are definitely on the right path. They also have pick number 10 to address some other things as well. And now we have number 8. The Atlanta Falcons are sitting here and they're kind of evaluating the board. Do they want to just go ahead and take an edge? Do they want to take a quarterback? And I think that they ultimately opt for the quarterback. Reason being, Matt Ryan's not going to be around forever. You want to be looking for that next star player potentially in Atlanta at the QB spot. And we see Malik Willis go here, the guy with the quickest release in the draft, phenomenal athlete. And he's, continuing to get better as he's gone through his college career. And he offers some tremendous upside as well. Running the football, throwing the football. Malik Willis from Liberty is going to keep ascending the program of Liberty higher and higher, and he is going to get noticed for it. He already has a ton of traction right now going into this college football season. So Malik Willis is number 8. And then number 9, we have the Carolina Panthers, and they've done a nice job building this team defensively, and now they're starting to work towards the offensive side of the football. And I think it's pretty clear and obvious that they want to go ahead and get a guy along that offensive line. Kenyon Green at the guard spot would be really, really interesting for them. He is a very established run blocker, also consistent in the pass game. And the Panthers are getting a really good guy up front, protecting Sam Darnold, and that's going to be key for his development. So Kenyon Green will be the pick at number 9 for the Carolina Panthers. Moving on now to number 10, we have the New York Giants. And the New York Giants are in a position where they can really help their offense as well. They address the defensive side of the ball, and then they come back here at number 10, and they're looking offense. I think that a guy that is severely underrated in this class just because of where he plays is Tyler Linderbaum. As the process goes on, I think he could very well establish himself as a top 15 pick. Reason being, he can get to that next level. He's a very good athlete, and he is just a super polished offensive lineman. Tyler Linderbaum is going here at number 10 to the New York Giants. At 11, we have the Denver Broncos, and they're at another really interesting position, another pivot point in the draft. They have to kind of decide, do they want to take a quarterback? Do they want to address other parts of their team? I think they're ultimately going to be looking at that quarterback spot. Reason being, we don't know exactly what's going to happen with Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. Those could be, short-term options. Drew Lock has looked good in the preseason, but I wouldn't, necessarily rule it out that they take a quarterback this year. So with that being said, at number 11, I'm going to have Keaton Slovis go. This is a guy that a lot of people think might even go top 10. I think he's going to keep elevating his draft stock as we get to the college football season and beyond. I think, potentially after the season gets done, some of those pre-draft workouts, he's going to keep climbing like some of these other quarterbacks here that are potential first-round picks. At number 12, we have the Raiders. And the Raiders are in a weird kind of mode right now. They're trying to rebuild it. They kind of reconfigured their offensive line. They also see a very, very dynamic player here in Chris Olave. They are going to go with him. Another true deep threat. You have him and Henry Ruggs. This is going to be a vertically explosive offense. I think Derek Carr could really orchestrate that well. And the Raiders are getting a top-tier wide receiver at number 12. Chris Olave, who was thought to be a late first-round pick last year, opted to stay, worked himself as the 12th overall pick in this mock draft. At number 13, we have the Arizona Cardinals, and the Arizona Cardinals are definitely, needing a corner. I think at this point, there's a couple of guys that could be in the running, but Kyrie Elam from Florida has been a shutdown guy ever since he got there. He has been a true lockdown. Florida keeps producing really, really interesting prospect corners. We saw CJ Henderson have a huge ascension into the NFL, ended up being the number 9 overall pick. And now Elam goes here at 13 to this Cardinal squad. So definitely a positional need for them there. At 14, we have the Washington football team. And Washington is a really, really solid roster. They have good wide receivers. They have a really interesting running back in Antonio Gibson as well. And he's only going to continue to get better. They just need that franchise quarterback. I think there's a lot of room for them to obviously improve their roster, but you have to go at that quarterback position. Carson Strong seems to be that top tier guy. I think he will definitely work with this Washington football team, and he has all the tools. He's just got a nice offensive line as well. Carson Strong is also a player that's been really elevated this past offseason. People are starting to notice him, starting to realize this guy could be a legit prospect. So Carson Strong at number 14. At number 15, we have the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are still trying to be relevant. They are really hoping to go ahead and address that edge spot, because a guy has fallen to them that they probably weren't expecting to be here, and that's Drake Jackson. They've loaded up on that defensive line with Michael Pierce, Delvin Tomlinson, and you also have Danielle Hunter on the roster already. Drake Jackson steps in and could be a really nice guy opposite of Danielle Hunter, can rush the passer, can play the run. Drake Jackson here at 15, beautiful pairing with Mike Zimmer's defense. At number 16, we have the LA Chargers, and the Chargers are in a position where they still want to replace Melvin Ingram long-term. There's a couple of interesting names here. Zach Harrison is a guy that you definitely think about, or George Karlaftis from Purdue, very, very stout run defender. And I could really see him projecting as a nice edge opposite of Joey Bosa. So, once again, the rich get richer in that, and they take Karlaftis with the 16th overall pick. I love the fit with the Chargers, and I think that makes a ton of sense. At number 17, we have the New England Patriots. And the Patriots are in a position where another guy has fallen to them that they weren't necessarily expecting to be there. And that's DeMarvin Leal. A lot of people are going to get hyped about DeMarvin Leal. He's a guy that can play the edge. He can play inside. He's a really good athlete for his size. I think he's 290, but he does not move anywhere near that. Definitely an agile athlete, very strong, and he can really rush the passer as well. Saw some advanced moves from him. DeMarvin Leal at number 17. At number 18, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be probably looking at quarterback. It's hard for me to not look at the quarterback position, just considering where they're sitting. Maybe during the draft process, they're going to look to move up, but Big Ben, obviously, I think this is probably his last ride. So Desmond Ridder is going to be the guy I go with out of Cincinnati. And the reason being, Mason Rudolph isn't the answer. I mean, maybe Dwayne Haskins for them could be. I don't have the utmost confidence in that. So we go with quarterback there. And I think, they're going to, potentially look at either trading up, or they just decide not to go quarterback at all if they don't feel comfortable at that number 18 spot. At number 19, we have the Philadelphia Eagles, and there's a couple of positions that I'd like to address for them, but I think linebacker is potentially the most interesting. DeMarvion Overshown could be that guy for them out of Texas. He's going to continue to climb boards. I think he should probably project into that first round. But the Philadelphia Eagles do a really nice job addressing two levels to their defense. They get the linebacker, and they also get the safety as well in Kyle Hamilton. At number 20, we have the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans is in weird position, right? Because, maybe they need that quarterback, maybe not. But they're going to go ahead and get a guy in Garrett Wilson who has fallen to them. At number 20, another Ohio State guy. They took Michael Thomas out of Ohio State. Now they go Garrett Wilson. And that's a really nice tandem for either Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston or whatever they decide to do beyond this point at the quarterback position. Garrett Wilson is a really talented player, does a nice job attacking the ball while in the air. Also a pretty good route runner on top of it. So at number 20, Garrett Wilson. At 21, we have the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are definitely thinking about that safety spot with this pick. I think that Jordan Battle is probably the best fit for them. He's a downhill guy. He can play in the box. He also can block shed too. I've seen him block shed offensive linemen, which is pretty impressive from a safety. Definitely going to be one of the best tackling players in this draft, even at that safety spot. So I love him here at 21. At 22, we have the Tennessee Titans. And the Titans are, in my mind, I think they're probably looking at that offensive line. I think a guy like Charles Cross makes a ton of sense. There's a couple of other offensive linemen like Zion Nelson, Rasheed Walker that also could make some sense. But for me, I think Charles Cross is going to be the pick. Tennessee wants to beef up, up front. And I think that Charles Cross is a great fit with this team. At 23, we have the New York Jets. And the New York Jets are kind of an interesting spot here because you have Treylon Burks could be a potential option, but they went ahead and took Elijah Moore last year. I think they're looking at that tight end spot. They have Chris Herndon, Ryan Griffin, but I think you can kind of up it to the next level. Jalen Wydermeyer is going to be my pick from Texas A&M. It's good to see a tight end go in this, and I think he will be a first-round pick at the end of the day. a very talented tight end from A&M. The New York Jets are going to be looking in that direction if they're not satisfied with what they're seeing in camp out of the tight end group. At 24, we have the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts are going to need another playmaker, in my opinion. T.Y. Hilton's not going to last forever. Treylon Burks is going to be a really nice guy that you can plug into this offense. You already have Jonathan Taylor. You have your guy Carson Wentz. The offensive line's already really good. They have Paris Campbell, Michael Pittman. So I liked adding Treylon Burks to that group. I think that's a very formidable wide receiver room. At 25, we have the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins, they might be satisfied with Myles Gaskin, but I also think that they could improve at that spot. Go Isaiah Spiller. Isaiah Spiller has, he has been waiting a little bit here, but I think this is the best fit for him. And I think Miami would be very happy to select Isaiah Spiller at this number 25 spot. And now 2 out of the last 3 picks have been guys from Texas A&M. At number 26, we have the Cleveland Browns. At this position, I think that edge is definitely in the cards. Aiden Hutchinson could be a guy. I think that's who they would opt to go. We're not exactly sure long-term what we're going to see opposite of Myles Garrett. So Aiden Hutchinson steps in the future. We're not exactly sure what's going to happen with Jadeveon Clowney. Long-term, we don't really know. So I think this is a really good way to hedge that and go ahead and take a very talented edge rusher in Aiden Hutchinson. At 27, we have the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are going to be looking at that corner spot. They have a terrific safety tandem, and they can go back. They already have an elite corner as well. I think Ahmad Gardner comes in and could be that true number 2 corner for this defense. This defense is already really talented the way it is, and you go ahead and add a guy like Ahmad Gardner. This team is going to be a force to be reckoned with here on out. At number 28, we have the Detroit Lions. Detroit is in desperate need for a wide receiver. I cannot emphasize that enough at the spot. John Mechie III, I think as Alabama's season plays on, he is definitely going to play himself into a first-round pick. And from the flashes that we've seen from John Mechie, I think he has that ability, and he could very well potentially get that overall workload during the year. And he's also going to be on the biggest stages. We know they're going to be competing for a title. He's going to make big plays. So John Mechie III is my pick at 28. 29, we have the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore is wanting to get stronger up front. They always do. They love protecting their trenches. So they're going to go with Rasheed Walker from Penn State. Baltimore loves to run the ball. Rasheed Walker can really help them in that department. So at 29, I think that's a very good pairing. Now at number 30, we have the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay is sitting here. There's a couple of interesting playmakers that are on the board. I don't think that they're going to, be looking at that edge spot. I think just potentially getting ready for the whole Jordan Love era, you're going to want to improve your wide receiver room. We're not sure the future of Devontae Adams. So Justin Ross is going to be the pick. They have to be ready to go for this next era because they're kind of having their last dance with Aaron Rodgers, and who knows what happens with Devontae Adams. But at the same time, you got to be ready for when Jordan Love comes in. You can give him a fair chance with talented receivers. Justin Ross gives you that. At 31, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, another team that really makes it a priority to protect their quarterback. Zion Nelson is going to be the selection here. You could probably play him outside. You can play him inside. You can be pretty versatile with that. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are just going to be looking to get stronger up front. And, maybe, tough contracts come around. You might have to part with one of your offensive linemen. So Zion Nelson steps in here at 31. And then finally at 32, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs did a wonderful job during the offseason addressing this roster. I think they will be looking to go a potential another wide receiver, another playmaker. Drake London makes a lot of sense to me here at number 32. So that is the conclusion of the draft. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you do enjoy the content, subscribe to our channel. Also, leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Have a lot of fun making these, and I really appreciate all the comments. So thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you in our next video.